The Twits by Roald Dahl. What a lot of hairy-faced men there are around nowadays. When a man grows hair all over his face, it is impossible to tell what he really looks like. Mr. Twit felt that this hairiness made him look terrifically wise and grand. Mr. Twit was a twit. But a hairy face is a very different matter. Things cling to hairs, especially food. As a result, there were always hundreds of bits of old breakfasts and lunches and suppers sticking to the hairs around his face. Mrs. Twit was no better than her husband. Mrs. Twit had a glass eye that was always looking the other way. You can play a lot of tricks with a glass eye because you can take it out and pop it back in again any time you like. One morning, she took out her glass eye and dropped it into Mr. Twit's mug of beer when he wasn't looking. To pay her back for the glass eye and his beer, Mr. Twit decided he would put a frog in Mrs. Twit's bed. He caught a big one down by the pond and carried it back secretly in a box. Mrs. Twit sneaked out into the garden and dug up some worms. She mixed the worms in with the spaghetti, but only on her husband's plate. Mr. Twit stuck a tiny round piece of wood to the bottom of Mrs. Twit's walking stick. Every night he crept downstairs and added an extra tiny thickness of wood to the end of the walking stick. You're sitting in your old chair and you've shrunk so much your feet aren't even touching the ground. And in the end, there's nothing left except a pair of shoes and a bundle of old clothes. With her feet tied to the ground and her arms pulled upwards by the balloons, she was unable to move. Mr. Twit had intended to go away and leave her like that for a couple of days and nights to teach her a lesson. "There's enough pull here to take me to the moon," Mrs. Twit cried out. He took a knife from his pocket, and with one quick slash he cut through the strings holding Mrs. Twit's ankles to the iron ring. High up there in the sky, she had a bright idea. "If I can get rid of some of these balloons," she said to herself, "I will stop going up and start to come down." Mr. Twit, who thought he had seen his wife for the last time, was sitting in the garden celebrating. Silently, Mrs. Twit came floating down. "Who wants every Tom, Dick, and Harry peeping in to see what you're doing? I always grow plenty of spiky thistles and plenty of stinging nettles," she used to say. "They keep out nasty, nosy little children." Once a week, on Wednesdays, the Twits had bird pie for supper. Mr. Twit would put the ladder up against the big dead tree and climb into the branches with a bucket of glue. On one Tuesday evening, 4 little boys crept into the garden to look at the monkeys. Mr. Twit had reached the top of the ladder and was just about to make a grab for the nearest boy when they all tumbled out of the tree.